Some of these videos I'm showing you seem a little bit backwards and forwards, whatever it is, and not in any logical order. The reason is I realise I've got a problem with lighting. To me it looks okay, but obviously once I played this back on the computer, the colours are not so good. So I'm trying a little bit of an experiment, and I've ordered some new lights for next week. I've actually got a brand new one over there, but it only lasted about a week and it broke, so it's got to be sent back. Anyway, what we're going to do on this video is change the front seal between the windshield frame or the windscreen frame and the bulkhead top. Now it is a bit tricky to do, but like I said, because I'm reshooting this, I'm going to tell you what to do first of all. So what we need to do is undo as many bolts along this edge as we can. Now I've already got the roof on, so I did this video a couple of days ago. So we're going to, while the bolts are undone, we put 2 bolts right at the very back here, so that we can lift up the front of the vehicle, the front of the roof should I say, with the screen attached. So leave this attached, but we're going to undo these bolts here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. In a minute. See if we can see it. You'll know what I'm talking about. There we go. So we're going to undo these 3 bolts here, both sides, and then with those bolts out all the way along here, we can actually tip the roof up. We can tip the roof up with a big enough gap so that we can work and put the ceiling quite easy. After that, I think the lighting should be okay, but I'm not going to do the seal again because it was a bugger of a job anyway. So that's that. Let's get on with the video. Remove the 3 bolts or whatever you've got there attaching, and then using a brush just lift up the roof, and then you've got bags of room to work. And good job with changing that seal, because look at it, this is it's like an open cell foam. I'm not sure, it looks like open foam, but it's just all falling to bits. So I'm going to put the camera around the other side and you can see what we're going to do. This is the new seal that goes in. It's see, it's all pre-cut out, whereas the old seal was just a strip with a couple of holes in. Now I'm going to use this plastic scraper to take it out. I'm not going to use anything metal, and we're going to sort of just slowly, you know, get into it and take this off. It's quite bad, and when you look at the thickness of an old one compared to a new one, you can see it's going to nip down and make a really good seal. But like I say, it's we've got to spend a bit of time cleaning all this lot up, so I'll stop this now and then we'll come back when we actually fit the seal. The original seal is now removed, but there's still a little bit of the residual sticky from where the double-sided tape was before. So I'm going to try some of this stuff. This is called general purpose adhesive cleaner. It's a solvent, but it's not too severe a solvent, so it's not going to damage the paint. And obviously we don't want to use anything too abrasive on there that's going to damage the existing paint. So we'll get that in and we'll keep rubbing it away and cleaning out all this lot off. And eventually, you can see it's a long, tedious job, but it will soak in and start to pull that adhesive off without any damage. Yeah, there she goes now. Where's my little plastic spade gone? Wait a minute, let me go and get this. You can see we don't use metal tools on new paint. Yeah, that's coming off the tree. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's going to take a little while, like I say, but you can see there that the little bits of residual sealer are on there. So I'm going to take that off, and then we should be ready to fit this seal. Put a bit of cloth on the bonnet just to protect it, just in case any bits and pieces fell on it. So now we're ready to put the seal on. If you'd have noticed on the old seal, it just, well, you probably didn't, but it only had about 1/4 of an inch of double-sided sticky on it. And this has got full-sided sticky and a reinforcement piece. Now, it goes on, yeah, it goes on, so that, it is handed. Let me see which way that goes. Yeah, that side, this side is the opposite side, so that's where we're going to start, because we've already got the pieces off them. So we can slip that over the pins here, and just make sure that sits nice and snug and even on there. You don't want to pull it too tight. There. So just pull it to the end, and that's going to look nice. Alright, so now we do the other bit. And again, just try and get it so it's nice and flush. These seals are sort of like the later seal. They're not the early one. I think the TD5 onwards. They seem to have addressed the problems of the seals leaking a little bit. So again, we pull our seal forward, pull it till it goes to the end, and then just pat it down, snugging into place like that. And that's going to look nice. Yeah, that's going to look nice. I'm just going to play around with the other end a bit, just pull it a little bit tight, it's a bit more towards this end, if I can. Yeah, there. There we go. If it's overhanging a bit, it's not too bad, we can always trim it off. But that's going to be kind of nice on there. So now we can carefully remove our brush shaft and drop that screen back on. Now this is going to be a bit tricky. Catch your fingers. There. Now, that one's not quite on the pins at that side. That's better. So now I've got to fit the brackets back on, but again we're only going to do them loose. And I noticed they didn't put any gaskets. They've painted this bit, but they haven't done this bit. So I'm going to fill that full of anti-corrosion spray. Same with the inside of the hinge. But I'm going to try and find the gaskets for that first. The gaskets for these brackets are the same gasket, but one's a left one and one's a right one. So we're going to put them on. I've sprayed them full of corrosive, whatever you've got, and I'm going to drop that onto there, put that one onto there, and then we're going to start to put the bolts in. Now this might be a bit tricky, so I'll do that off camera because it's a bit boring. I've got one side bracket on for the windshield or windscreen. These things here, bit of a nightmare to fit, to be honest, because there's no flexibility in them, there's no give, and because the seal is now thicker than the old one, we have to force the window down to get it to get the bolts to line up. Now one thing you've got to notice is these things, these gaskets here are actually handed, so these brackets are handed. It's the same bottom gasket, but one's one way and one's the other, and it goes the same for the top. So what we're going to try and do, I don't know if it's going to work because I might be covering everything up, but I'm going to try and put the top bolt in first. Now, one little trick I do with these is I chamfer the edge of the bolt and then make sure that you can put a nut on nice and freely like this, you know, so there's, and polish them up with a wire brush, and then you know that they're going to go into the top, you know, like into this thread, kind of easy. Now these are actually helicoiled in here, these threads, and it is a bit tight on this. I think somebody's buggered up the thread at one point, but hey-ho, we'll have a go. So let's have a look. So first of all, I'm going to leave the bottom gasket out, but remember which way it went in. So it went in that way. Put my arm around the window, don't forget the bracket. The washer part goes towards the window. Put that in. Well, I'm just going to use my air gun to lift that up. Probably not the camera on, is it? Right, so that's that one on. Then the gasket. This is always tricky to line up. Now we're going to try and put the top one in, which probably won't go. So we get a little podger bar like that. Get it in the bottom hole and pull that screen down. Okay, like that, look. Pull it right down. And see if we can get that bolt to go in. Of course it won't go in. Oh. And of course the gasket's now falling out. Oh well. What a mess about. I'll have to have a look at this now, see which way the gasket went in. Like that. Yeah. It's not easy. It's easier with two. As you can see, you've got to push that bolt down and get that to start. Ooh, that looks promising. Well, it did until it dropped out again. There we go. And then the bottom one should automatically line up. I think I've done it before. So that's all I used was this little podger bar. Pulled it down, got the top bolt in, not the very top bolt, but the top bolt on the bulkhead side. Hope I make myself clear. Now it is 20 to 5. I've been buggering about all day and got generally nowhere. So that screen is now in and it's nice and tight. Let's go and have a look at the front and we'll sign this video off. So there you go, a nice even seal, no paint on it, and it just looks like it's come out of the factory. As I say, it would have been so much easier if they did it with the roof off, but never mind. So that's how you do that. Oh, I can see that gasket there has shifted round a bit, so I'm going to have to back off the bolts just a bit and move the gasket, but then I'll sign it off. So making Land Rovers better, it's an uphill task. We'll talk to you later. Bye.